Okay, we go back here a bit. Yeah, there we go. Here is the Brita, or the Genesis account, created by the Son of God. And the earth was for him, by him, and the darkness was over the face of infinite space, and the Spirit of God was over the layers of water. So what it's saying here is that He's created the heavens and the earth, right? The sky and the earth. Okay? And it was in darkness, and it was just there in space, never-ending space, and the Spirit of God was over the layers of the water, the Holy Spirit, the power of God. So it's just deep, dark, infinite space, endless space. No mention of planets and all that sort of stuff yet. And God said, let there be light, and there was light, so He created light. Well, it's like you turn on a light to see what you're doing, when you're working on something. But He was that light, right? But He created light for a special reason. And God hasn't created the sun yet, or the moon. And God saw the light that was beautiful, and God chose light over darkness. Well, yeah, He gave it rule over darkness, right? And God called the light day, and the darkness night, and the evening and the morning became part of one cycle of the first eon. It's down here in the Aramaic 153, literal Aramaic word euma, eon, a measurable period, day or age or day with a capital D, because it's different from the day that we know today. It's like a created calendar day, Hebrew day, etc. It's very, very different. It's kind of weird, but if you get your head around it, which is quite hard, we find it's quite hard to keep messing it up, you'll get it, right? You'll understand it. Okay, so yeah, so that's what it means. It doesn't mean like a literal 6-day week and 1 day off. The 7th day, right? That comes later. And God said, let there be sky in the balance of the water, etc., etc. Then He created the sky, and He differentiated between the water, etc., etc. And He called the sky heaven, and that was the evening and the morning of the second eon. Immeasurable period, unfathomable period, age, eon, era, or day with capital D, and all this sort of creation stuff. Then He makes the suns in the sky of heaven. That's the sun and the moon. Okay, this is the way the Easterners wrote it. Yeah, because they're both lights, aren't they? Okay, in the morning of the fourth, and it was evening and morning on the fourth eon. See, that's when the day started. The day ended. Right, that period ended. Where is these? Oh, here we go. And God said, let there be suns, sun and the moon, or lights, in the sky of heaven, so as to choose between the day and over the night, that they should serve for signs and wonders, seasons and cycles, and for years. Okay. And apparently the Hebrew year was like 10 months or something like that. It was actually quite short, supposedly. Okay, so these are signs and things to amaze at. You look up in the night sky, wow, look at that. What's that thing going across the night sky? Wow, you know, and try and figure out what it was. Seasons like autumn, summer, winter, spring, and cycles, evolutions, right? Because further down it has something about evolutions being these cycles. Here we go, Genesis 2:1. And the sky and the earth were completed in all their evolution. Footnote down here, 2:1. Literal Aramaic idiomatic figure of speech, powers. Yeah. They went through their cycles, the sky and the earth. Yeah. All those revolutions, those cycles. So it's nothing here to do with evolution. It's nothing here on creating other planets. He probably created this planet first, by the looks of it, and then created the other planets in the universe. It's like a systematic thing, right? And these like fall in line and do this and do that according to the science behind it. But according to this Brita, by the looks of it, this Genesis, He makes the earth first, which was dark, formless and void, and had a watery surface, before He decides to bring land from it. The Egyptian myth is that it was all covered in water, and then this mound of dirt came up from amongst it. Yeah, this mound, and then it went on from there. Yeah, so it's quite interesting. So we're looking at this verse here. God created the creatures of the earth, And God created human being to resemble his own visage, his likeness, his image, right? He created them male and female. And then down here in the footnotes, 128, literal Aramaic idiom or expression, way of expressing it. God created the Aboriginal man first. Okay? The Neanderthal man. Okay? And that's the theory of the Aborigine that follows that to explain it. Okay? So where the hell did man go from where is it? He makes all these animals, and one of them happens to be an ape, and it slowly evolves into a upright man or a huge whale that suddenly turns into or evolves over 60 million years or 60 million years ago and ends up being a black bear, according to Darwin's theory, right? The origin of species. Yeah, where does it say that? Okay. It can't be Neanderthal man, a pre-Adamic man, as stated here, if they were created first, okay, and then man was created second, right? One in the likeness of God, he created him as likeness. The second from the dust of the earth, right, as stated in these ancient, original, very old Assyrian Aramaic manuscripts of the Tab Asher, sister language of the Tab Ivri, or the original ancient, very old Hebrew. Okay, so there wouldn't be any space for it. If this pre-Adamic man was created first, and then there was Adam, a humanoid made, right? Where did these apes fit in? Where did this great ape come from? Yeah, it suddenly decided, oh, I'm sick of walking on all fours. I think I'll stand up. Stand up straight. Ooh, me back. Snap, snap, and he comes this erect human being. Don't think so. Yeah, it doesn't fit. Yeah. This is all like probably metaphorical, allegorical. I mean, a man talks to a snake or a serpent or whatever. Does it necessarily mean that he actually speaks to a snake, or is he talking to him telepathically? Okay. Maybe like that. Yeah. Or it may mean something completely different. Yeah. In the original language, but it's all here translated into the nearest English equivalent from that ancient Brita of the Lishana Artika Saprat, language of God, of the Assyrian Aramaic or Aramaic from the original Kitab or Tav Asherit. Okay? That would probably be Asherit script or something like that. I'm not really sure. You'd have to ask Victor Alexander exactly what it is. I think he suggested it all stems back to the original ancient, very old Ninevite Aramaic that Jonah spoke to the Ninevites in Assyria when he warned them, you know, wrath of God is coming upon you. Or they took all that he said and all they wrote in Aramaic or something like that and put it in his own language, right, to share with his people, whatever like that. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so there's some more here about Cain. He kills Abel, goes into the land of wandering or Nod, and he finds himself a wife, does the Oompa Loompa, and he has a child, Enoch. She gave birth to Enoch, and Cain's still alive, so he starts a village and called it after his son Enoch. So it's probably one of the first villages. And to Enoch was born Irad, and to Irad was born Mehuel, and Mehuel was born Metushael, and to Metushael born Lamech. And he had two women, the first bigamist, right, polygamist, having two wives, and that sort of stuff. And Adam took his wife again, that's after Cain went into the land of wandering, or Nod, right? So he's no longer the heir. So God gives Eve another kid, another son, and she called him Seth, which means it's like in the place of, right? Okay. She. 425 literal Aramaic word she. Is that how you say it? She. Instead or in place of the offspring that Cain killed, Abel. Okay. And to Seth also was born a son, and he called his name Enosh. Thereafter they were called after the name of the Lord. And this was in footnote 426. the beginning of the line of the children of the Lord. So that was the holy line which the Christ would eventually come through. Okay? But these certain beings left their rightful place, and in Brita or Genesis 6, around about that period or after, maybe 7, they saw that the men of the unholy line, Cain's lot possibly, his descendants, had women, they had females, daughters. So they, oh, she's hot, oh, I want that one, I'll have that one too, and that one, right? Married whoever they wanted, get hold of, and had children to them, but they might have been Neanderthals, and that's where the interbreeding started, and that's where you get your hybrid human being, okay? Because we've got that, supposedly got that Neanderthal in our DNA, and then they eventually got breeded out, right? Because humanoid was faster, stronger, all that sort of stuff. Well, the Neanderthal man was pretty strong. Wouldn't want to mess with one of them, right? They're like a wrestler or something like that, and crush your bones like an ogre. But they eventually got interbreed out, out of existence. They couldn't hack it anymore, right? And they just, I guess, for too much interbreeding, they slowly disappeared, right? So, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Hope it was exciting for you as it was for us. We really enjoyed bringing it to you. So that totally blows away that person in the video's statement that Christianity went to Africa first before Europe. In a sense, it could be right, because the Mesopotamians are in the east, Europe, and then they spread out, and then they, and then the Jews, etc., tell the good news, and then the Romans, the people there, the Greeks, they get hold of it, and then the rest of Europe, through, say, Constantine's invasion of different countries and forcing them, the Roman state, empirical church on them, right? I.e. Roman Catholic doctrine, whatever, come under us, or you'll suffer. Recant and join us, or suffer the consequences, and that's how Christianity spread. That form of Christianity, possibly what we have today. So again, hopefully you enjoyed this as much as we did presenting it to you. If you did, subscribe to our channel, give us a like, add your comments below, and we'll get back to you on those probably sometime next Christmas. Just joking. And go share this video with all your friends, family, church friends, Muslim friends, etc., to help them. If they're confused, they're like, but the Bible says this and the Bible says that, but it's not very explanatory. I'm confused, I've got these confusions, I'm like stuck. Where did Cain get his wife from? Oh, it must have been a sister, all this sort of stuff, because they didn't get together and do the Oompa Loompa, Adam and Eve, until after he'd gone into the land of wandering. Okay? So Seth becomes the heir, because Cain's not around. He's somewhere else with other people, right? And then the holy line starts. Some of them fall away. Okay? Go marry and interact with these Neanderthal women that are in the east. Have these hybrids. Get slowly breeded out. Okay? All this sort of stuff. Okay. As we said, subscribe to our channel. Give us a like. Add your comments below. We'll get back to you on those ones. And then go share it with all your family, friends, neighbours, strangers, and so forth.